100 Facts About Business. To fall asleep to. A complete narrated script in 10 parts. From ancient Mesopotamia to the age of artificial intelligence. Sleep to business genius. 1 Segment 1, The Beginning of Business. Please like, subscribe and share right now. Welcome. Take a deep breath and let your mind drift back. Far, far back. To a time before offices, before stock markets, before corporations. To the very beginning of business itself. It all started simply, quietly, the way most great things do. Thousands of years ago, around 3000 BC, in the ancient land of Mesopotamia, nestled between 2 great rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, people began trading with one another, not with coins or paper money, but with goods, grain for cloth, livestock for tools. This system was called bartering, and it was the world's very first form of business. Slowly, gently, civilizations grew around this idea. The more people traded, the more connected they became. Communities formed, trust was built, and from that trust, commerce was born. But bartering had its limitations. Imagine trying to buy a loaf of bread, but the baker doesn't want what you have to offer. What then? This challenge led ancient civilizations to create something revolutionary. Around 600 BC, in the kingdom of Lydia, in what is now modern-day Turkey, the world's first metal coins were minted. For the first time in history, people had a universal way to measure value, a common language of exchange. And with that simple invention, the world of business changed forever. Trade began to travel further. Merchants carried their goods across deserts and mountains, over seas and rivers, connecting distant lands in ways never seen before. One of the most remarkable of these ancient trade networks was the Silk Road, a vast web of routes stretching over 4,000 miles, linking China in the east to the Mediterranean in the west. Along these dusty, winding paths, silk, spices, gold, and ideas flowed freely between cultures. Business was no longer just local. It had become global. As trade expanded, so did the need for record-keeping. Someone had to track what was bought and sold, what was owed, what had been paid. And so, in ancient Mesopotamia once again, the earliest known accounting records were born. Clay tablets, carefully etched with tiny symbols, documented transactions between merchants. These quiet, careful records were the ancestors of every spreadsheet, every invoice, and every financial report that exists in the world today. Rest here for a moment. Let that sink in. The business tools we use today have roots stretching back thousands of years. Built slowly, carefully, one small step at a time. As centuries passed, great empires rose, and with them, great marketplaces. In ancient Rome, bustling forums filled with merchants selling everything from fine pottery to exotic animals. The Romans were exceptional business people. They developed some of the earliest known forms of contracts and business law, establishing rules around trade agreements and property ownership that protected merchants and buyers alike. For the first time, doing business came with structure, with order, with rules that everyone agreed to follow. And then, quietly, almost without anyone noticing, a new idea emerged. What if a group of people pooled their resources together to fund a business venture that no single person could afford alone? This concept, the earliest form of partnership and shared investment, first appeared in ancient Rome and Greece. Wealthy citizens would invest in trading ships and merchant voyages, sharing both the risk and the reward. It was a gentle, brilliant idea, and it planted the seed for something that would eventually reshape the entire world of business. The concept of the corporation. But that story is for another moment. For now, let these early threads of commerce settle softly in your mind. The bartering of ancient peoples, the first gleaming coins of Lydia, the winding paths of the Silk Road, the quiet scratching of a clay tablet keeping record of a deal made long ago. Business has always been about people, about connection, about the simple, timeless human desire to create, to exchange, and to build something that lasts. Close your eyes if you like, and let these ancient markets fade gently into the background as we prepare to drift a little further forward in time. Please like, subscribe, and share right now. Facts covered in Segment 1. 1. Bartering began around 3000 BC in Mesopotamia. 2. The first metal coins were minted around 600 BC in Lydia. 3. The Silk Road stretched over 4,000 miles connecting east and west. 4. The earliest accounting records were clay tablets in Mesopotamia. 5. Ancient Rome developed early forms of business contracts and trade law. 6. Roman forums were among the earliest organized marketplaces. 7. Ancient Greeks and Romans pioneered shared investment in trade voyages. 8. Record-keeping gave rise to the foundations of modern accounting. 9. The concept of pooled investment planted the earliest seeds of the corporation.